In the fourth installment of the Diablo 3 beta video series, we're going to cover crafting in depth so we can get kind of a concept of what exists out there today in the beta as far as crafting is concerned. First of all, we had to do a quest for Hadrig here in order to get his trust or gain his trust, and once we did, we then have the ability to do some crafting. You can see that we can forge armor, we can forge weapons, we can do some repairing of our existing equipment if it happens to be damaged from battle. When we forge these items, we can actually select some of these items from the list, one of these items, and the structure of the crafting is based on these things we call common scraps as well as subtle essences. And we combine those two things, along with some gold, of course, in order to craft that item. Now, these items come from, these common scraps and these subtle essences come from kind of a disenchant concept, or can be picked up in the world as part of drops. If you don't have any, you can actually use this Nephalem cube here to right-click on a standard item. And when I do this, I'm going to go ahead and create some scraps. So when I click on that, you'll notice that my common scraps went up to 26. And I'm going to do that same thing on the magical item, and when I do that, you'll notice that my subtle essences went up to 90, as well as I added some common scraps up to 27. So the idea here is that we craft based on these materials, and that's the way it appears to be for the blacksmith at this point. So let's go ahead and craft one of those items we were just talking about. Go ahead and select that forge armor again and come back to those apprentice leather cuffs. We'll see that when we craft those, we're going to have a 5 to 7% better chance of finding a magical item, as well as one random property that will be imbued onto the item. We'll go ahead and craft that. See that status bar go, and then we're going to see those leather bracers appear in our inventory. Now, another concept we should talk about with respect to crafting is the concept of training. And training is built upon based on combining pages of training into tomes, and then combining those tomes with that common scrap concept, and then go ahead and training up to the next level of experience. These pages of training are dropped throughout the different quests you do and throughout the different dungeons. You can pick those up, and then you can go ahead and right-click on them. You'll see when I right-clicked, it created that tome of training down here. And now when I come back to Hadrig and click on Craft and go down here, I can see that I have one tome and I have at least 5 common scraps. I'm going to go ahead and train. That's going to move my experience bar up. And now when I come back to Forge Armor, I may have some other options that we didn't have before. So let's go ahead and train a few more times. Go back to our inventory and click on those 5 pages of training. Create that tome. Do it again. Now we have 2. Let's come back to Hadrig and click on Craft and come down to Train. Let's train up a few more times. Notice we've added some rewards here. If we take a look down here, we can see that we've added quite a few different weapons, as well as we come back to armor, we've added quite a few different pieces of armor. So that's an overview of how training and crafting work in the beta as it stands today. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be posting more on D3 in the near future. Stay tuned to the Ruin channel and hope to see you soon.